Alright, what's up guys, it's Matt's Boost, and if you're watching this video, you're probably looking at buying a Corvette C6, or maybe you're just a fan of Corvettes. Either way, in this video, I'm going to tell you why I think the Corvette C6 is the best performance car right now that money can buy. Let's talk about it. Alright, so if you're just getting into Corvettes, the Corvette C6, it was produced from 2005 to 2013. In the early years it had the LS2, then they switched to the LS3. The Corvette C6, it comes in a manual or automatic transmission. Both are super solid, honestly. Now the Corvette C6 price-wise is very fair. If you compare it to something like a BMW or a Mustang, it's going to be cheaper for the most part than both of those cars, and you're going to get generally better performance. I know that's debatable, but trust me, I've owned all three. I've owned 5 BMWs, I've owned 5 Mustangs, and I've owned a Corvette C6, which I've had for multiple years and put way too much money into it. But either way, I'm going to tell you exactly what you need to know. So the Corvette C6, it makes a really good daily driver, just like a BMW, just like a Mustang, just like a Camaro, anything like that. It does make a really solid daily driver. The Corvette C6s are pretty reliable. Now there's a few small issues you've got to worry about. I've got a couple other videos about that, but nothing major. Overall, the Corvette C6s are really solid cars. If you're going to be looking to buy a Corvette C6, you need to keep in mind that there's going to be some maintenance costs associated, and those biggest maintenance costs are going to be the tires, number one, and then you've got the brakes, and then just your standard oil changes. But otherwise, the Corvette C6 maintenance wise, it's not crazy. Now compared to some other cars like the Mustang GT or a BMW, and that's a BMW, you could take an M3, M4, 335, 340i. The Corvette C6 is going to have different driving characteristics, of course. Now what I love about the Corvette C6 is just how well it handles. It handles superb, and I've got an M5, and the M5 handles well, but the Corvette C6 will match right up to that M5. It handles super well. Another thing about the Corvette C6 is, honestly, I love it because it gets a lot of compliments. A lot of people love Corvettes. It gets a lot of compliments. The body lines on the C6 look so good. It still has the round tail lights in the back. A lot of people to this day consider the Corvette C6 to be the best looking Corvette of all time. Now here's the thing with the Corvette C6, price-wise, they're pretty affordable right now. If you get a base model Corvette C6, you can get one for around 20 to 25K. Now, if you get a Grand Sport Z06, ZR1, of course, the price is going to be 30K plus. If you're looking at a Mustang GT, decent miles, you're probably going to be looking 25 to 30K plus as well. And if you're looking at a BMW that can compete on the Corvette C6 level, you're going to be looking at least an M3, M4, slightly newer model that's going to run you at least 30 plus, 25 plus as well. So if you break all of that down comparison wise, the Corvette C6, if you were to snag you a Corvette C6 base model for under 25K, which is very doable in this Corvette car market, then I think it's the best bang for the buck overall. Some other parts about the Corvette C6. Number one, it gets pretty decent gas mileage. Corvette C6 gets anywhere from 27 to 32 miles a gallon potentially on the interstate. Pretty solid. Around the city, it's about 18 miles a gallon. Of course, it depends on how heavy your foot is. Overall, for a V8 that makes 400 plus horsepower, it's pretty good. Now let's out some pros for the Corvette C6. Some of the pros are they're easy to mod, they're fairly affordable, they're fun, they're fast, they get compliments. Some of the cons of the Corvette C6 is they're only a 2-seater. So unlike, you know, a BMW M5 where you got a big old back seat, or a Mustang where you've got a back seat, the Corvette's going to be limited to 2 seats. Not a ton of trunk room. You've got enough room to put a set of golf clubs. I think Corvette engineers designed it that way specifically. And then, you know, there's a couple maintenance things that you need to watch out for, like the harmonic balancer and the torque tube and the fuel line fitting and a couple miscellaneous items. And that's going to be, you know what, you're going to have issues with any car. Compared to a BMW, the Corvette's going to be way cheaper to work on. Mustang wise, there's not going to be a ton of difference, but parts for the LS2, LS3 are going to be slightly cheaper than a Gen 3 Coyote type parts. Like I said, when it comes to performance for the Corvette C6, if it's the LS2, LS3, it's extremely mod friendly. So you don't have to go out and do a ton of crazy mods to make 1,000 horsepower. But if you want to put exhaust, some headers, maybe you can, maybe a little tune, you absolutely can, and it's going to be way more affordable than doing it to a BMW or a Mustang. The LS platforms are super cheap these days. Corvette C6 has got a lot going for it. It gets decent gas mileage, it's sporty, it's fun, it's got an iconic look, it's easy to mod, and it's definitely affordable, especially at a base model level. And don't get me wrong, the Grand Sports, the Z06, ZR1s are obviously super nice, but I've got a base model And for the price difference that you save on like a more expensive BMW or a Grand Sport even, you can put into mods and make horsepower, baby. Bottom line, the Corvette C6 is the cheapest to mod. They're holding price well. You can get one that's affordable and they're not depreciating like crazy like a BMW does. And trust me, I've got an M5, and that's why I got a Corvette C6, is because I felt like at the time the LS platform was one of the best to mod. The C6 looks so good. It gets so many compliments and they're super affordable. Anyhow, if you're looking, at cars for 2025, 2026, 2027, 2024, it doesn't matter when. I think the Corvette C6 is going to be the top dog for the foreseeable future in terms of best bang for the buck for a performance car. It's lightweight, it makes good power, it looks good. What's not to love? Appreciate you guys watching, man. If you like car content, Corvette C6 content, Corvette content in general, BMW content, it doesn't matter. Like and subscribe. We'll see you guys on the next one.